Young people descended on the Hammond, Ponchatoula area the third week of June and have spent a week of their summer investing in our community. Stay tuned to find out about the World Changers. Hi, welcome to Northshore Talk. I'm your host, Beth Davis, and we're here today with Katie Beasley with the World Changers. She's come down here from Tennessee, and she's their communications specialist, or she probably has a better title than that, but I'll let her tell you. Help me welcome today, Katie Beasley.
Hi.
Good morning. It's good to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Tell me what your official title is.
The official title is Missions and Communication Specialist.
Missions and Communication Specialist.
Yes, ma'am.
So when we're talking about the World Changers, they have a mission.
Mm-hmm. We do have a mission.
All right. Tell us who the World Changers are.
World Changers is an initiative of Lifeway Christian Resources. And what we do is we set out to raise the level of substandard housing within areas such as Hammond, Ponchatoula. And so we bring in participants from all over the U.S. to come in and do construction-based projects for a week at a time in order to just show their faith in such a loving God that we have and to go out and serve others is basically the mission that we are on for the week.
Okay. Well, that's wonderful. That's a great mission, and this involves young people.
It does.
All right. Tell us about the team that's been around here.
This week we had 170 participants from anywhere from Oklahoma, Arkansas, Texas, North Carolina, and even some locally in the Ponchatoula area stayed here and worked, which is really good to see them get out and work in their own city here in the area. But then those who have traveled from far away come in and pay $250 a piece to come in and work on these houses, and then just spend time together in prayer and in the Word.
Okay, and so the team is basically made up of teenagers?
Yes, teenagers ranging from 7th grade on to about 12th grade and some college-age students, but then they have adult supervisors throughout the day that are also with them.
So you've 7th grade, so that's like 13,
Mm-hmm.
13 years old. That's pretty young.
Yeah, to be out there in the heat, but they serve and they don't give up. It's impressive.
It certainly is. Well, we're so excited to know that we had this big group of young people, to find positive things that young people are doing. And of course, we have a couple of other local ministries here in town.
Yes.
That involve young people in summer missions. We have the Helping Hands, we have the Face at Lunch clubs, and they are out doing some very similar types of projects.
Right.
And that's the local flavor, but it's even better to have all this outside help come in. Why choose Hammond?
Well, just the association got together with Lifeway and said, well, World Changers has never been in Hammond before. And we actually partnered with the Ginger Ford Fuller Center while we were here. And so we talked to Tamara Donnell and said, what can we do to come and help out in this area? And she said, well, there is a huge need with these houses that need to be fixed up. And so that's where our local partnership came into play, was through her, through the Fuller Center. And they've been a huge blessing to us. Just to interact with them and get to meet Tamara was awesome. And so it was great just to see these relationships develop from across state lines to come and know that they have a place for us here in Hammond. Just for us to be able to connect on that level of working together was so great to watch these participants get involved in.
I don't know about World Changers, but Lifeway is part of the Southern Baptist Convention?
Yes, ma'am. World Changers is kind of underneath Lifeway. It's a resource that Lifeway uses. And so the Southern Baptist Convention Lifeway is involved in that. And so World Changers usually is just affiliated, I guess, with that also.
Because of that, you connected with a Baptist church down in Ponchatoula?
Yes, ma'am. First Baptist Church of Ponchatoula is where we lodged for the week. They were very gracious hosts, fed us, kept the facility clean, opened their doors way more than we ever expected. And so, that's where we stayed for the week. And they were awesome.
Yeah, you said something earlier before we started about the Louisiana food, so they must have been cooking for you.
Well, it was great. There were some places in downtown Ponchatoula. I can't remember exactly the names of the places that donated food, but yeah, people cooked and the church served, and I tell you, it's so good. It's so different than Tennessee food, but it was wonderful to have all these places just donate food for these 170 students, plus all the adults, plus summer staff and the volunteers who worked. So they were easily serving 200 people throughout the week. And so we appreciate First Baptist Church of Ponchatoula so much for letting us stay there for the week.
That's great. That's great. Now you said you're from Tennessee.
Yes, ma'am.
And summer staffer, so you're just on for the summer months and going back to college after that. What was your favorite taste of Louisiana food so far?
Oh, so far it has to be crawfish. I mean, I haven't had it up until now, and so it was wonderful cracking them open, and it was great. It was so good.
So that may have been a first experience for a lot of kids on this trip. Maybe
definitely. Some people, they say that they've never been down this far south. This is as far south in this area as I've come before. And it's very different than anywhere I've ever been. So.
Louisiana is its own place.
It is.
No doubt about that. No doubt about that. And so the team has wrapped up their week and will be heading out. But you are going to be staying on, the summer staffers will be staying on in this kind of around the area. Tell us where you're going.
On Saturday, we leave and go to Covington, Louisiana. And then from there, we will be in New Orleans, and then a week in Baton Rouge, and then up to Natchez, Mississippi is how we will finish out our summer.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So you got a lot of work to do, and you were saying that you did 16 different homes.
Yes.
In this area. Just in 1 week, we had 170 teenagers here, and they divided up into teams. 16 different homes were helped.
They were.
Okay. And tell us what kind of work you did.
A lot of the work included repairs and painting. We've built several wheelchair ramps for some elderly homeowners who just can't get around. We've done lots of just cleaning up yards, landscaping, weed eating. But painting, I think, is one of the biggest things that we've done, stripping away the old paint and just making the house look brand new, replacing boards on the foundations of the house. Some of them were just rotted away, and so the students took hammers and nails and stuck them right on there, and so that's what their week consisted of.
That's a huge, especially to an elderly person.
Yes.
That just is not physically able, maybe doesn't have any family around. And so for you guys to go out and lend a hand, it can change their lives. A wheelchair ramp can change a person's life.
It gives them mobility to get out and have freedom that they didn't have before.
That's exactly right. All right, well, we're going to find out just a little bit more about this. Stay tuned, and we'll be back in just a minute. Welcome back. We're here with Katie Beasley with the World Changers, who have been in the Hammond, Ponchatoula area during the 3rd week of June, and were a huge blessing to our area, working on 16 different homes to provide repairs or wheelchair ramps and so forth. So we're going to talk a little bit more with Katie about the philosophy of the group. Lifeway Resources is the one of the covering entities. And all the students, as I understand it, had to go through some training. They have some core values. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how that process works?
Before the students came, they were given a 6-session how-to guide of how to take off their masks of everything is okay, and being just transparent to each other, for one, being transparent of able to break down those surface level relationships. We seek for the students in the youth groups to develop deep relationships, even between just their members of the youth group, but also with members of other youth groups along at the same time, because when you're housed with different people from different states for a week at a time, you get to know each other pretty well. And so that's one step, is just being transparent with each other and getting to know other people. But also we teach them how important it is to build relationships within the community that they're in for the week. Getting to know the homeowners was a really big emphasis that we put on, to just offer them anything and everything that they need. Just to say, we're here to serve you for the week, and so we want to do anything to make life a little bit better for you. And so that was a big thing also, was just to build those relationships with the homeowners, and then just to serve. We're working on not complaining. We live in a generation of me, and we don't want the students to grow up that way. We seek for the participants to realize that life is not about us. It's about helping other people, and to serve Christ and show the love of Christ to those around us. And so we just encourage them to really think about what they can do to serve others instead of putting the emphasis on themselves this week.
That is a huge life lesson, as you say, in our culture today, when things are very, very self-centered, and of course we're very comfortable,
right.
in our surroundings, our homes, our air conditioning, and so forth.
Right.
And then to go out in the Louisiana heat,
and it's so humid down here too.
Yes, nobody will argue with you there.
Oh man.
How do you go about identifying students that want to come on and do something like this?
I mean, we just, the youth pastors that get invited, we tell them ahead of time, this is going to be a rough week, and we hope that you can prepare your students to go out and just to serve and be prepared for the heat, but be put out of their comfort zone, to be intermingled with maybe different races, different religions, just to come together as their youth group and realize that we're going somewhere where we probably have never been before, and be prepared to break out of their comfort zone and talk with people who they possibly may never see again, people they don't know, but that through it all, that they're realizing that this is a job for them to serve, and this is an opportunity for them to serve just people in general.
That's great. And so one way that you acted on that concept was there was a block party. There
was a block party. We partnered with Macedonian Missionary Baptist Church here in the Hammond area. Pastor Carter invited us to come in and just have free food and inflatables, games, for just the community to come in and get to know each other, just develop those relationships that we hope the partnership between First Baptist and Missionary Baptist will last a while. We hope that they'll be able to do things like this more often for the community. But it was great to see the participants go out into the neighborhoods and invite kids to come in, invite families to come in, and then not just invite, but invest in their lives. They identified those who they thought, looked like they would have a good time coming, and then invested in just building even for just a short time, their relationships. I mean, there were participants with kids hanging off of them and attached at the hip. And so it was great to watch them interact with these younger children and just watch them go out and learn about these people in the neighborhood, and then just invite them to come in and enjoy some food and some fun. And then after that, we did have a worship service. And so that was neat to watch the two different groups, Missionary Baptist and then the World Changers, come together and worship as one through different varieties and different styles. We had some interpretive dance, and then we had our music leader got up and led for a little bit for the team. And so it was great just to watch the students observe how other churches worship, and then just the diversity of seeing them come together was great.
It absolutely is. I coordinate a community-wide Thanksgiving service here, and every year we have, and it's been going on for over 25 years. I haven't done it that long, but it was actually started with a couple of the Baptist churches at the very beginning. And in fact, I believe Dr. Lonnie Wascom was one of the first initiators, or he worked with it a long time. And but that's exactly what we do in that Thanksgiving service. We try to invite as many churches as we can get to participate, and everybody comes and does one or two songs with their praise team or their choir or whatever they have to offer. And the diversity of the styles and just all the different flavors is so awesome.
It is.
And it is just like the scripture says, how good and pleasant it is when brethren dwell together in unity, and everybody enjoys, from Southern country gospel all the way to maybe a hip hop style, and everything in between, the choir music, all of it. You know, it's just amazing, the many facets of God.
It was incredible to watch how even the African Americans worshiped as compared to us European Americans. It was great to see just the passion, and I hope it ignited the participants to realize that you don't have to hold back in worship, that it's a time for letting go and praising God.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. Well, hang on. We'll be right back in just a minute. We're back again with Katie Beasley with the World Changers, talking about a team of 170 teenagers that descended upon the Hammond Ponchatoula area in June, giving up a week or two of their summertime, investing their own funds, and came to contribute to helping improve some of the housing in our area, going to homes that needed some light repairs, needed some painting, needed a wheelchair ramp, whatever they could do. 16 different homes got that blessing through this organization. Katie, tell us, how do you go about determining which homes get to be served in this project?
Well, that's where our partnership with the Ginger Ford Fuller Center comes into play. Tamara knows a lot of the homes around here, and so when they discover those homes that need to be worked on, they will call up someplace like Lifeway and say, hey, we have a great opportunity for the World Changers to come to town and work on these houses. And so that's how the majority of, especially our building funds, that's where the Fuller Center comes into play. We estimated roughly $40,000 donated in supplies for the students to come and work on the houses. And so we appreciate the Fuller Center partnering with us, and we hope to come back for sure and help out the Fuller Center in any way possible.
Well, thank you. So I'm sure they appreciate it, and I know our community appreciates you coming and all the work that you have, the group did here. That's an amazing thing. And now you were saying that your theme this year is change the city, change the world?
Yes, ma'am. Our theme is change the city, change the world. And with that, we hope the participants will take on the attitude of, when you start where you are in spreading the gospel and serving, that it will spread, that the good news of Christ will just go not go unnoticed, and that people will notice it and want to get involved also. And that's how we go and hopefully go out and make disciples. Christ said, go out and make disciples of all nations. And so that is our prayer, especially as summer staff, is that we pray for the participants that once they leave here, they don't lose their servant attitude, that it remains, and that when they go back home, they want to get together and serve on their own time, and show that once their city comes together as one, that they will go out then and share the word. Whether it's here in the United States, overseas, across the world. And so that's where the change the city, change the world definitely comes into play.
That is so wonderful. I know the Southern Baptists are real big with disaster response, coming right in, and they're just so well equipped and well trained. Mm-hmm. And so it's very possible some of these teenagers will grow up and go on to become part of those teams.
Definitely.
Have you gotten feedback from some of the students? I mean, how has this affected their lives?
I have gotten lots of feedback from these students about wanting to get more involved in missions and how they can just go out and serve. Some of them are even looking at opportunities with the International Mission Board of going to serve for 2 or 3 years at a time. You can go and serve through some different projects of them and even get college credit for them. And so a lot of these students are interested in that. And then with the North American Mission Board has given us lots of good ideas and resources for these students to get involved past this point, once they get back home, once they get to school, and how they can become campus missionaries on their own time in their schools, and how they can just really invest in their friends and bring them to Christ. And so that's one way that I've seen and heard enough from these participants that they do plan on not losing their spark when they leave here, but to go and continue serving in any way possible once they get back home.
What a great incentive to be able to go and get college credit for going overseas.
That's awesome.
That's a great program. Good idea. That ought to motivate just about anybody to go to college.
For real.
Well, Katie, anything else that you'd like to share? We've got just about 3 more minutes here. How has this affected your life?
This has definitely strengthened my relationship with Christ. Just being able to come in and hopefully provide these students with opportunities to go out and serve. I mean, that is my heart. My heart is for missions, and I do plan on entering the mission field as soon as I can. But learning about all of this information to be able to provide them has helped me in so many ways possible. And so my heart is for local areas also, along with these students, but for across the world, just to go out and do missions. But our goal for the summer is just to keep the participants in prayer and just make sure that they're getting everything that they need. And as summer staff, we are here to serve. And so we enjoy getting to know the participants, making really good relationships with them, and just investing in their lives, but they invest right back in us, just encouraging us throughout the week. And anything that we ask them to do, they're very good to comply with us. And so we love meeting the students and just hearing about their stories. And I think that's the biggest thing for me, is developing those relationships and those parts of people that you learn about that you'll never forget. And just learning about their lives and hearing their story about how they've come to know Christ is really what drives me and keeps me going through the week.
You were sharing earlier that you're considering changing your college major. Is your experience with this, is that part of why you're considering
that? Is one of the very big reasons. I would love to switch to a communications major and just be able to provide people with not just opportunities to serve, but just to tell people about Christ. And that is my heart's desire. So I'm hoping that will equip me in just furthering God's kingdom.
That's a firsthand story of impact of a program like this. Well, anything that anybody's doing that helps our young people, get their feet on the ground, a solid foundation, and direct that energy to something that is so positive, so giving, so serving, and helps so many people. We can't do anything but just applaud you and thank you so very much for choosing our community to come and serve here. And so thanks for coming and sharing your story with us today.
Well, thank you for having me. Thank you for having the World Changers come to town.
It's our pleasure. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you next time on North Shore Talk.